Good morning, Samoa, and welcome to Star Trek Stranger Worlds Season 2, Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody. Now, Subspace Rhapsody, of course, is an episode that, it's had quite a long journey, hasn't it? It has been a long road, getting from a short Trek pitch all those years ago to here. It has been a long time, but everyone, the time is finally here. We will see the episode come to life at last. We've already seen it. It's touched our screens. We will see the crew of the Enterprise all rejoice in song. They're not gonna hold us down anymore. No, they're not going to change our minds. 'Cause I've got faith! No, I loved it. I loved that episode. Best of Trek, worst of Trek, I see you in the chat, and I know you're not a musical person. I think Star Trek peaked way back in the 90s with the hit single, Tuvok I Understand. That was the pinnacle of the franchise. Until today, of course. I think, welcome, we've peaked now. Star Trek is now peaked. It's only been almost 900 episodes or so. Yes, my alarm for the live stream has just gone off. It's a bit late for that. I love that episode. If I have a complaint about that episode, and I realize why they didn't do it, it's that it should have included some sort of Faith of the Heart reference. Now, it didn't, because that's a actual song that's licensed, but if I had all, infinite budget, any actor would say yes to, whatever I wanted, the credits to this episode would have been the original cast of Enterprise reprising their roles, just to sing a rendition of Faith of the Heart, and that's how the episode would have ended. That episode was... it was fun. I think it was great fun. Actually, I am not at all surprised that I am right. But I put in the little community tab before the episode aired, so I could prove, that I said it before the episode aired. I thought the only chance this would flop is if they didn't try and explain it. But, what did I say? All I need is a half-assed subspace wave that makes highly improbable events extremely likely ripped out of Deep Space Nine. Yeah, it's not hard to come up with how they would justify a musical episode. But I loved as well, not only was it that, yes, they had basically entered a little pocket of reality where the extraordinarily unlikely was happening, that the solution was to engineer events to be so extraordinarily improbable that the quantum wave function just collapses and returns back to the normal reality. No, I very much enjoyed it. Thinking about it, it really shouldn't be this much of a surprise how much I enjoyed the episode. I don't know if I've ever actually... I'm sure I've seen a musical. I don't know if I've ever sat down and watched one from start to finish is the thing. I've definitely...
Every other Disney movie.
Oh, sure. But that... I guess they are. I would have thought those a bit different. I was thinking more like The Sound of Music or something, which I've at least seen parts of. Subspace Anomaly, the ultimate Trek MacGuffin. Yeah, but...
Nathan, I make you watch Christmas movies with me. Half of those are musicals.
No, you're right. I've seen musicals. I'm going to sidetrack here. Let's address this, actually. The ultimate Trek MacGuffin, that's why I think Star Trek sort of fake science holds together really well, is because nearly everything that is, as far as we know, impossible is subspace. So, warp travel is impossible. Well, no, because we use, a new undiscovered dimension of reality. I'm fine with that, but also, I'm just glad they tried to give an explanation, because it would have been weird if they didn't. But yeah, I don't think usually musicals are, my big thing, but the two shows I've given Perfection Awards to are Deep Space Nine and Steven Universe. Steven Universe has quite an extensive soundtrack on Spotify. I should not have all been surprised. But also, It wasn't modern music. Well, with some exceptions. He even made me love modern music with the Klingon bit. But I'm absolutely desperate for good new music. It hasn't happened since like 2016, and that's not just a random joke year. I'm pretty sure that's actually the last time like a good song was released outside of TV and movies. And now that Disney seems to be gearing towards modern, they sound like music did about 10 years ago. God, 13 years ago. Oof. Yeah, no, I absolutely love this. The review might be a little odd. It might be more of a song review. I've actually got a list of all the songs so I don't forget them. But this is definitely an episode that I'm going to have to weave into just my natural conversation. So many quotes in this episode. If I ever get promoted at work, by God, do I want to just break out into the, like, the Connect to Your Crew song or something, where they're just, but no, there's also, in true Strange New Worlds fashion, I'm doing big gestures, like, I don't know, I'm in the musical realm as well. I like how it actually had some character developments and beats in there, like, canonically, it would be stupid to kind of think it is the sole reason, but there's a strong case that the deciding moment Kirk decided to become the captain we know him as was during the musical episode of Strange New Worlds as part of a song, which I love. They might have managed to justify the differences with Ethan Peck Spock compared to Strange New TOS enough to where I don't have to keep touting around my tinfoil hat mind wipe theory. Yeah, that was good. David C., I love musicals, just not in my Star Trek, lol. How dare you? Get out of here. We're going to award this a Perfection Award later in this stream. You just don't know it yet. Yeah, no, I really enjoy. I will say, right, I think there's a decent stretch in the middle where kind of the novelty of the idea had worn off, and it was just like a standard kind of musical episode. It wasn't bad at all, but I was like, right, the kind of freshness, the funness of the idea has run its course. But in the finale, they did bring it back to me. I am going to have to show Alex this after after the live stream. That must have been like the best filming day ever. Like, hey, you tell your kids like, hey, did you know I was in Star Trek? I was one of the Klingons. And they're like, oh really? Can I see you in the Klingons? And then you just bring up this. Oh, Alex, no, I want you to look at this frame. Anything you'd like to share with the rest of the class?
It looks like it's how I imagine a Disney musical of a Star Wars villain would look like. Like, it is so stupid and ridiculous looking and over the top. It's definitely the villain song.
That's why the finale brought me back. It was absolutely stupid, ridiculous, and over the top. Look at this weird like dab sprinkler thing. Like,
this is a.
You're watching this after the stream, by the way. But
this is. I imagine. Yeah.
I want to point out, by the way. According to this article I have in front of me that just got the titles of all the songs, the entire soundtrack appears to be on Spotify. So now I have something that's not Steven Universe to listen to when I make those Eagle Moss thumbnails. Yeah, let me straighten that up again. Get everyone in place. Best Trek, Worst Trek. The beginning was good. The ties to lore were cool. The furthering of some season plots were cool. But all but one of the songs didn't work for me, especially the Klingons. I can't even with them. We'll get into the songs more specifically in a bit. I kind of felt like the entire season was secretly building to this musical episode. And I don't know if that's because it was, or if they just had enough, like, character development that they went, right, we can make enough songs out of here. How much were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not counting the intro song. Which is, that's good. 10 songs? Like, how many songs did Encanto have? Encanto? Yeah, like, it probably was about 10. Like, that was a full-on packed. See, if it had been a stage show, it would have been fine, but not on the actual TV show. What I want, right, is sometimes they do stuff like this, but I would love a tour, like a live performance of the songs from this episode. I don't know if you could get the actors to do it, but, like, I remember when the Star Wars Orchestra was touring around and they came to Spokane. I think I've done some other live orchestra, but I think that would be fun, because I agree. It very much had a lot of feeling of a stage production, but I think it was just fun. We all knew what we were getting into when we watched this episode. If you didn't, by God, that must have been an experience, but yeah. I can get that, though. It's just, for me, because they provided a reason, like, yeah, cool, you can do it. You know, it's just an extraordinarily improbable universe. The reasoning is that it is extraordinarily improbable. And the resolution is that it is so extraordinarily improbable, the reality itself collapses. Like, yeah, I think that's acknowledging that this is kind of an absurd premise. One question, though. Right, so they're singing because... this isn't a critique, by the way. I like this. They're singing because they're, for all intents and purposes, in an alternate universe where everybody sings. So where does the music come from? I like that they're in an alternate universe where evidently your emotional state is somehow tied to the ambient background of the universe, that it will just produce music for you. I guess in Star Trek, canonically, thought and reality are kind of intertwined, but I do like that implication we quietly brushed under the rug because it might ruin it for some people. Carlos, hello, and I saw it all, the majority by captions. With no sound, made it very tolerable, and the lyrics was pure crap. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a wide-ranging episode. I'm very curious to see. For me, this is the new The Baseball episode, right? When you, like, Deep Space Nine takes a break from all its, like, war-heavy serialized plot, and they go play baseball on the holodeck with some Vulcans. To me, that's what this is. Like, Strange New Worlds just randomly was like, why don't we do a musical? And then that happened. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of dislike for the episode, which is fine. I mean, I can see it very much as a taste thing, but Alex, tell them how picky I am with music. Tell them how picky I am with music.
I don't want to talk about it.
Exactly, and I liked this. I like by and large, but yeah.
The only things Nathan likes is the Steven Universe soundtrack and songs from the 50s.
So
we'll be listening to the radio, and no matter who's driving, I get to be in charge of the radio, because Nathan doesn't like anything on the radio. I have to sit there, and we shuffle through songs, and Nathan will,
oh, no.
And if I land on a song, Nathan will be like, that was the right choice, sir.
When you're in the car, I don't shuffle through songs like I do when I'm alone. But there were 3 songs I probably wouldn't have liked outside of context. One of which, it's the weakest. We'll get to them. I'll individually talk about all of the songs. One of which worked more for me because it was justifying Spock in Strange New Worlds. The other was the Klingons. It was so ridiculous and over the top that, like, I just had to... I loved it. That genuinely...
If you're gonna let me watch this episode, you have to let me watch the Klingon.
That is the only bit you're gonna watch ahead of time. But I think that might be my favorite part of the episode, was the Klingon. I knew they were gonna be in it, because I saw, like, a screenshot of the Klingons. But yeah, that was my favorite bit. But I get it if it was just a bit too out there. But, like, it's a risk. You know, this was a risky episode. And so it's not going to pay off for everyone. And yeah, musicals seem to not be super popular among most people. Look at that. Quick shout out to Sam. I don't know if you spotted in this episode. I loved how he was just in it. Like in this music song, when Chapel started singing, the music started going, he was kind of shaking his hips and like snapping his fingers, even though you can't see me doing a little dance. Like Sam, the actor that played Sam, he knew what this episode was and he committed.
There's a new color?
That's medical. We don't, look, it's Discovery. Don't worry about it.
Medical's blue!
Don't worry about it, Alex. I'm more curious about this person in the background who almost looks like someone who, like a film crew who's just like standing here, like the dance choreographer. Let's see.
Meanwhile, they're singing him, "We won't live to see another day, so let's live for tonight."
Oh god, where are we? Especially the Klingons, stage show. It was crap. I thought this sort of episode would fit better in a 5th or 6th season. What, you mean when they're running out of ideas? No, Alex Kurtzman, and I think others have wanted to do this since Discovery Season 1. And I think they finally saw their chance and he took it. The other one they wanted to do was Black and White, which they sort of fit into Prodigy. But, yeah, it's not like Bride Chaotica for me. I feel like they should be focusing on stories that allow each character to be developed. Then you can introduce these types of episodes.
Sometimes you need an episode for characters to breathe. Like, if it's always development.
I agree. That, I was about to say, it's the baseball episode. Where Deep Space Nine...
Is that how you're describing
I've told you about it. No, not Steven Universe. The Deep Space Nine baseball episode. Where Deep Space Nine, I don't think would have worked as well if every now and then the crew didn't take a break from the biggest war the Federation has ever seen to go play baseball in the holodeck with some Vulcans. Like, you know, you needed those sort of room to breathe or lighthearted episodes. But also, I think in the 2 seasons, especially this last season we've had the crew, there has been so much character development. I mean, Stranger Worlds is perhaps the only character-driven Star Trek. I mean, I think Discovery is. It's just not doing it as well. But yeah, I think it might even have more character development than, I don't know, Enterprise, like through its whole 4 seasons in these 2 seasons. But yeah, I mean, as I said, this is going to be a very varied opinion. I mean, largely based on how you like musicals. But, no, I really enjoy it.
I love them.
Voyager Black and White serial was better than this. I forgot Voyager. Yeah, duh. We've just been talking about it, but Voyager did do some black and white episodes. Carlos, they made Nurse Chapel the relationship destroyer, and I detest the character now. Was borderline before, but now she's the dumpster now on fire. This one was interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it, because we've talked a lot about Chapel. Like, I see, obviously, what they're doing. They're trying to take Chapel and turn her into an empowered, capable person, in contrast to what she was in TOS. But I've talked before how I think that kind of has a side effect because it's Chapel. What you're saying is that somehow this empowered, self-sufficient, like, capable woman became what she is in TOS, where she's kind of constantly chasing after Spock. And I might be doing Nurse Chapel in TOS a little bit dirty here because it has been a lot longer since I've seen her. But I don't know. Like, Stranger Worlds has time to explore this, but I can see what you have in TOS with that very one-sided relationship is Spock not wanting to go into a relationship because he now believes that, like, it's a serious... I mean, it's what it was in TOS. His emotions are a serious handicap that could lead to disastrous consequences. And Chapel... the reason Chapel can't have Spock is because she caused him to feel that way. Like, I don't know. I can see it. I'll need to let it breathe a bit and actually watch TOS back. Yes, she didn't call it off in the best manner, but she also did it in a musical she had no control over. So I'm not gonna really, like, she was trying to find a way to do it gently, and then the whole musical thing happened. So I'm not gonna hold it against her too much, but, Sam uses every inch of screen time to the max. Yep, he really commits. Absolutely. Watch this episode again and just pay attention to Sam in the background of scenes. Normally, I would move from a frame like this because it's unflattering, but no, this is what Sam was in the episode. Yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, no, that's too depressing. Give me a happy frame. Good enough. Stranger Worlds has the luxury, have characters we already know, so they get to add onto rather than build it from scratch. That's been a complaint of mine in the past, that they need to flesh out their new characters more. And there are, of course, canonical problems with what they're doing with the existing ones. But, yeah, you definitely... It is true that you can do things that really enhance the future seasons. And I think Stranger Worlds is doing a lot to justify what they've done. But that hasn't really made the ride more enjoyable. Before they've justified it. And I think there's also a bit of the Picard Season 2 effect, where in my head, it's not as bad as I remember. Or rather, it's better than it actually was. Some of the, in my head, it's like, was Ethan Beck really so un-Spock-like? In truth, yes, but I don't remember how. So,
I like just tuning in. Was Ethan Beck really so un-Spock-like? In truth, yes. That's all I heard.
But in my head, and when I remember these big character beats where it's like, okay, Spock used to be maybe more emotional, and I remember how he gets to TOS, then it works. It's forgetting the details, but remembering the story, which is, I mean, before the modern stuff even, that's kind of how you make TOS work. As I've always said, TOS was best vaguely remembered, not actually, note by note remembered, because it really didn't work with the 80s and 90s stuff. She did him in public. That was the ultimate embarrassment for Vulcan. She disses him. Oh, yes. I'm not sure she was fully under control is the thing. Comet, are you whining? 1 second. Comet needs his pedestal of ultimate comfort. There we go.
It's a piano bench with a pillow on it.
Yeah. I'm the X was your favorite. You must be one of those disgusting people who likes modern music. I'm sorry. That was harsher than it was in my head. But no, yeah. I mean, I liked I'm the X because of the canon, the leg lifting it did. Not really because of the song. It wasn't even that bad of a song. What?
Did you just basically tell one of your viewers,
my longtime viewers, that they were disgusting? No, the disgusting are welcome here. Well, it depends how you're disgusting, If you don't like Faith of the Heart, that's a band, but
I need to just make a decorative pillow that says the disgusting are welcome here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even that bad a song. It was just it's a song that's ruined by
existing.
How do I phrase it? It's a song that's ruined because music used to be a certain way when I was a kid, right? Don't worry, this isn't going to be an old man rant. It used to be a certain way when I was a kid, right? And now it's a very different way. If you look at its top songs from 2005 and its top songs from now, they're very different. And if you watch kind of music go along from 2005, there's a point starting about 2009 where the music starts to change. And nowadays you can see that music was becoming what it is. And I don't like music as it is now. And so there are a lot of songs in that middle period that have good bits, but also have modern bits that bring them down for me. And there are more songs that are kind of right at that edge point that I used to like, but now I only kind of hear the modern bits, and it ruins them for me. That's what I'm the X was. It's a song that's brought down because music has evolved past that point. Yeah. Comet. What it is it's Encanto. Where Encanto's Disney used to kind of be making songs with like that 2005 vibes, and Encanto is that transition point where it's making music that was like when the music from when I was a kid was becoming now, which is very upsetting because Disney actually made some good songs in the past. But the bit.
Stop being an old man.
The we don't talk about Bruno bit, that specific
we don't
bit,
talk about Bruno,
that's
no,
good.
no,
That's a
no.
good bit,
We
right?
don't talk about Bruno.
The rest of the song is modern trash. Yeah.
It was my
Now it's
wedding,
bad.
it was our
See?
wedding day.
Now it's bad. It's like that. There's that weird middle ground where I can see that what Disney's becoming. You know, I've seen this before.
Stop being an old man.
You know, in Doctor Who when they.
What are you gonna do when we have kids?
In Doctor Who, when they cart off that Italian guy, and Wilf's like, "My God, it's happening again." That's how I feel, except much less dark. Much less dark. Shashike, I'm an X is such a clever Spock song enhanced by our. Oh yeah, just as a song, I don't. It's not my cup of tea. Everything was about feelings, a running theme in New Trek. In Stranger Worlds, Stranger Worlds is a character-driven show, which, I mean, we can argue whether it needs more of that kind of philosophizing, whether you can have the show separated, of like, here's your character show, here's your kind of old-schooly show. But ultimately, I think, despite anything it might be lacking from a character-driven focus, being a character-driven show, Stranger Worlds is really good at telling character-driven shows, and therefore, way more often than not, I think the episodes are good and enjoyable watches. Therefore, it's a good show. And it's working as Star Trek, you know. Like, I think we can argue the balance all we want, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, that just because it's lacking maybe some of the philosophizing doesn't make it bad. I think they just... I also think as well, if they tried doing some of those more classic style things, I don't know if the writers are good at that, so we might get like a lower quality show overall. And I think I'd rather have the high quality... too much of the high quality stuff than forcefully like pushing things the writers might not be the most skilled at, so it fits more with Star Trek. Like, I don't know. If that makes sense. Shall we start off? I don't know if I really have too much in the beginning here. Like, not really till we start the musical. This is all set up. We know where this is going. So yeah, the musical happens around here. Kudos, this is one of the first times I can think of where modern Star Trek has used a song is it wasn't some piece of, like, modern trash. Which one was it? It was one of the Fallout songs. I know it. I know it. Where'd my headphones go? God dang it. I know it. It's gonna bother me. Oh, that's most... Nope, I'm ahead. It's not important. Someone tell me what song they transmitted, because I don't remember. But yeah. I really loved, even knowing this was a musical episode, they did a fantastic job with this very first song. Status Report is the name, according to this list I have, of seamlessly transitioning into the musical. Like, because there's always the background music, and they transitioned into the actual song. And then when Spock kind of went from the talky to singy, like, it became a little more rhymey.
I'm assuming he started rhythmically talking, and then he started walking, and then he started rhyming with the timing.
Oh, wait. These are music videos. I gotta be real careful. Ah, there we go. Put these on.
Nathan just handed me a bra.
Those are my headphones. No.
An ear bra.
Yeah, Alex is dancing. They're driving. This was a great episode.
Hey, I was jamming out to that.
Spoilers. But no, I yeah, here's the frame. I didn't notice it had happened. Like, I knew it was going to happen, and I didn't notice they had gone into musical mode, and I love that. I can just imagine. I really think we lose something from experiencing the shows now. Like, the best shows to experience for me were Deep Space Nine and Enterprise, because I knew nothing about Deep Space Nine going in, and the only thing I knew about Enterprise going in was its theme song was an abomination, and that was a lie. And they were the most enjoyable for me. I can just imagine this is what you would look like if you didn't know this was a musical episode, and all of a sudden, like, Spock started singing.
Or if this
and
was
like
your first introduction to Star Trek.
You had
because it's so
the background track. I've got to show this to my dad. Be like, Dad, you know, you got to see the latest episode of Star Trek. Not tell him, just watch it. But yeah, I was very impressed with that, technically, that even knowing this was going to be a musical, knowing what the anomaly was going to do, I didn't notice it had happened, which was very impressive.
I mean, I could notice, but that's just because it was a little bit more orchestra.
Well, I started you in the middle. Yeah. This is pop new Trek. I miss the old, more nuanced intellectual Trek. Yeah, fair. I also miss that. I think modern Star Trek could do with injecting more of that, but I don't think I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I don't think we have to do one or the other. I think there's room for both.
That's what I say about dinner and dessert.
Of the current shows, Strange Worlds are just behind Lower Decks as my top 2 shows. God, they swap. Prodigy used to dance around a lot, but it kind of depends on how good the last episode either one aired was, but they're both up there. They're both doing different things though, I guess, like apples and oranges a bit. Look at the expansive engineering set. It looks so cavernous. I agree. Better in this season. It looks white. That's an actual set, by the way. That's not their like magic Mandalorian rooms that I looked up the names of, so that I don't remember. That's actually a set. That's real. I agree. I get the warp engine is bigger than it was in TOS. I think it's a bit too big, personally. It's not a practical engineering bay at all. If Enterprise would have needed a bigger ship. If you wanted this 50 years ago, I might have done it. I might have been, all right, fine. But again, it's just pressed up too close to TOS. And like you could miniaturize it, but I don't know. I've accepted the Stranger Worlds sets are not what I would have designed. But yeah, status report. I'll say I haven't seen it, but I heard in the talk before this episode, Buffy the Vampire has a musical episode. The Vampire Slayer. That was an important word to miss. Has an episode once more with feeling. That's basically about how they're all trapped in a musical. I really got those vibes with this. I would not be surprised if... He's gonna keep doing this. I'm not gonna be surprised if that was a big inspiration. Yeah. That's not a practical bay at all. And the JJA version big, just realized it. I wonder which is bigger. I mean, engineering in JJ is cavernous. It's like the Budweiser brewery, but... no, status support, I loved it. I'll say as well, I said before in the trailer for this episode, I could not understand a single word that was sung. I forgot to turn on subtitles, and I didn't have a problem for this episode, which I was very glad with. It was all, well, I was gonna say it was all old-timey good music, but let's be honest, even when I was a kid, you couldn't understand what was being sung. The reference to bunnies is from it. What, JJ? Or, JJ has bunnies in it? I don't remember the bunnies. Status support. No, I like that. I thought that was a great introduction to the musical episode. I kind of liked everyone being confused. That one was really good. I was loving it. This was when I was planning handing it the Perfection Award. Like, how I was going to do that on the stream. It was just great fun. I was laughing with it. It was such a... It's like, oh, it's actually happening. They're doing the musical episode. I loved it. Oh, Buffy the musical episode. Okay, Buffy had bunnies. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. I've seen some of the Buffy songs, and Strange Worlds musical is so much better because of the talent. We have 2 Broadway singers, Uhura and Chapel. I actually saw a post of like everyone in Star Trek who's ever had musical experience, and it's a shocking number of people. But yeah, I think everyone did good in this episode. I know it was like a hard one for a lot of them to do, because a lot of these people probably aren't singers. But I think they did very well. Actually, funny enough, the one that worked the least for me was Chapel, one of the Broadway singers, because on her song, I felt like I could hear a disconnect between what I was seeing and what I was hearing. I would guess pretty much all of these songs are lip sunk, because it just would be too hard to do the multiple camera cut, unless it's all one take, which is possible. It'd be a lot harder to cut around and do this musical video on the different sets than it would be to just record the audio all together and then put it over the video. But Nurse Chapel's singing voice was so different enough to her actual voice, in combination with, I think, the recording quality, because, you know, she's presumably in some kind of sound booth as opposed to the sets when she's actually, you see her on screen. If I didn't know better, I would have thought it was a different singer. And I've noticed in that song as well, they were much less focused on the actress's face. There were a lot of wider shots where you couldn't see her as much. It could more easily be lip sunk. So I would be curious to know how a lot of these were done. If they did just do, all right, one take, everyone go, or if some songs were in a booth, but I'm pretty sure that one was in a booth. They knew they would be compared to Buffy episodes, so they threw in the bunny reference. If you read the songs and listen to them, it's very kid-like. I mean, I think that's probably inherent. Unless you're singing about something very unkid-like, I'd have to actually go through and read the lyrics, but it's almost inherently exposition, the musicals, right? Is you're telling the audience how the character feels rather than showing it, which could, I mean, it's more complex than that.
So sad.
But that's what a
Hear my tears.
That's what
I'm smiling while I sing 'cause I'm sad.
That's what a bad kid show or a show for like preschool era kids would do, is they would tell, not show. And so I think that's where it could come across, but I don't think it's kid-like. I think it's just musical. And the thing about the musical isn't so much, I mean, it is more about those songs, the musicals. And songs are tell, don't show. And so I think, yeah, I can see the overlap. And I think I'm starting to understand why some people might just not like musicals. Because tell, don't show makes for bad television.
Nathan, I'm sorry, me and you are not going to be able to get married now. I love musicals too much to hear this slander.
Oh, no, I liked this, but I'm saying I can understand why some people wouldn't, is because tell, don't show is not good storytelling, but that's not what a musical is doing something different, so tell, don't show can work. Moving on. Yeah, status report, great song. The problem is I'm not going to remember a lot of these too well. I feel like there are plenty of things I want to work into my everyday conversation from status report. Just a musical statement of what's happening on the Enterprise. Well done. Which shows they are catering to a younger audience, as they always do. Last episode was very adult. I was gonna say, are you trying to tell me that Stranger Worlds is catering towards younger audiences when we just had Under the Cloak of War? No, Stranger Worlds is probably aiming at families, like, or targeting an older audience, and it just kind of, like, they're not gonna put boobs on the screen so you can show your kid it. I don't know, like, but yeah, I don't think Stranger Worlds is catering to a younger audience. I guess the older shows might have been adult. I don't know if they're family, because TNG does like directly reference sex and stuff. I'm not sure what the target audience was.
Me.
Stranger World, or TOS would have been more adult or family. I don't know. But it's not kids.
I like stoopy, campy stuff.
God, you'll love this episode. I love.
That's why, even though everybody else hates Chaos Sonic and Sonic Prime, I love him so much. He's as campy as the old Sonic cartoon.
Your favorite episode is still Spock's Brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heavily enjoy Spock's Brain. It's so stupid.
I loved the main title vocal rendition. We're being spoiled. 2 custom intros in a season. I think the entirety of Star Trek before this point had 2 custom intros, and one of which was the Lower Decks animated one. Right? Like,
what?
I don't know. You wouldn't know. But, yeah, we're being spoiled. I love a custom intro. I mean, that's why I did the live-action thumbnail. This would have been a special thumbnail if I had more of a heads up or more money to pay Alex for a character. But, I really like the acapella Stranger Worlds. That was good. And I hope we see more custom intros like that. This is the one thing I think the increased budget is really benefiting, is we can actually do custom intros. Star Trek has never had the budget for a custom intro, even the one time it did it in Enterprise, because I told this story before, but in A Mirror Darkly, the animators went up to, like, the Paramount or whoever, was like, hey, can we do a special Mirror Universe intro for this episode? And they went, I love that idea. I want to do it. It would cost too much money, so we can't do it. So the animators went, okay, fine. We'll do it on our own in our spare time for free. And that's why we have the In a Mirror Darkly intro, is because it was made completely for free because the animators thought it was a cool idea. Looks like next week is a Gorn episode. Their take is almost modern horror, not really for younger audiences. Yes, that was set up in the premiere. I don't know if you noticed, the cheeky little producers, graphic designers, the maps we see in this episode, I don't know if I can get one on screen, show they're on the border of Klingon space and the Gorn hegemony, setting that up, which I really like. DNG does this as well, where if you kind of know the geography of the Federation and who borders it, you'll notice the Enterprise actually throughout TNG. It starts off kind of on the Romulan border, and it actually travels around the border over to, like, Cardassia and Bajor, and it's very consistent. The Enterprise never really suddenly jumps to the other side of the quadrant. It slowly makes its way across the map in TNG, and it's really well done. Across all 7 seasons. Stranger Worlds is not a family show. That was Prodigy. Prodigy was a kid's show. I'm sorry. After they flipped that way after the first 3 episodes. No, Prodigy was a kid's show. The thing is, Prodigy was a good kid's show. So it actually could talk about adult subjects, like Steven Universe or some of the other... I think Owl House is one of the other ones. But Steven Universe is the one I've seen. The nice thing about Prodigy is it's actually advertised as a kid's show, and Picard is advertised as an adult show. So those are the only 2 I know for certain who the target audience is. Lower Decks is a family show. Actually, I lied. I think Lower Decks is an adult comedy, officially. Like, yes, you could show a adult show to a kid. Like, it's not some law, but I think I think the target audience for Lower Decks is that it is an adult animated comedy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Next up, yeah, we just got Justifying the Musical. We finally have our answers. Oh, wait. Was I wrong? I think they've met in the middle here. Wait, no, wait. Give me a wider shot. This is the most important thing in the entirety of the franchise. We've talked before about this little Jeffries tube. Yeah, there we go. In TOS, this is curved, but all of these bits that jut out are a solid line, so they don't connect at all. I think they've met in the middle, and they've gone, look, it's 2023, we can curve these a bit, but we're gonna leave a bit of a gap. And I love that. Like, this pipe goes into the wall, but the yellow bit isn't flush. I think this bit isn't flush. Well done, Lower Decks. Oh, God, wow, sorry, that was habit. Well done, Strange New Worlds. You have nailed the well, you've done the middle ground. This Jeffries tube is my idea of a middle ground set. And the bridge is good. But, yeah, you've brought up an old set with modern budgets. We can do curves, but you've chosen not to do full curves. 50 years up from the perspective. Oh, yeah, it's tall. But I don't think we ever saw up the Jeffries tube in TOS because it probably was only 5 feet and they didn't have a top. Oh, look at that. Here's the great view. Yeah, look, this kind of connects with the... Like, these were awful in TOS. Look up a picture of, like, the TOS Jeffries tube. These were awful. But I think they've kind of paid homage to the idea that these didn't touch the wall, but they did do it, how they touched the wall. Yeah, next song, Connect to Your Truth. Yeah, I've said before, I want this, like, when I get a promotion at work. What are the lyrics? They were... This... Lyric-wise, this one might have been my favorite, just because of how much I can weave it into normal conversation. Oh yeah, we had the Gilbert and Sons callback. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to a musical you can't hear. I say doing this. I also hope if N Squared ever gets real big and I have employees, it's going to be absolutely mandatory. Anyone I ever put in some kind of manager position or like overseeing other people, like they gotta go through this. This is the promotion ceremony at N Squared. Is I put on this uniform, you put on this uniform, and then we reenact this scene throughout like N Squared headquarters. That's I'm putting it here live right now. If I ever promote someone, you gotta call me out and be like, did you do the thing? Did you lead them through in a musical? Detective Truth is very 2020s ethos. I'll tell you what, it sure as hell is not a 2020 song. It's all modern garbage. That's what the Klingons listen to. By the way, I know that's probably not the intent, but I love that the only true modern song was the Klingons, the bad guys. Like, bad guys listen to modern music. I'm just saying, it's not the liberal utopia. Liberal utopias don't have that. Don't talk about Discovery. We don't talk about that, but... yeah, no. I mean, I liked it. It was a good song. I loved how quotable it was, and I loved that this is the moment Kirk kind of decides to be the captain we know him to be. Anytime I see Kirk being Kirk in TOS, having like all that personality, I'm just gonna think of this song. And I love that. They sure don't act like 23rd century behavior. They're 23rd century musicians? Musical performers, I suppose. I mean, yeah, that was kind of the point. It's a highly improbable reality in which everybody breaks out in highly choreographed song and dance. Which I loved, because, you know, okay, ignoring the thing where the universe just kind of emanates music, it's possible. It's just extraordinarily unlikely. Which is, yeah, like, that's all you have to do. It's not impossible, it's just extraordinarily unlikely. Therefore, make the extraordinarily unlikely likely, and you've got it justified. That guy is not Kirk. looks like some generic token actor. Yeah, we've been over there. There was a moment where I saw him as Kirk. I remember it was in Leon's kind of fantasy thing. When he was reaching out the hand in like his black shirt, for some reason I saw that and I'm like, I see Kirk now. I don't. We'll get to that point, but I was like, that's Kirk. Like I know it's Kirk, and I can accept that. But you're right. No, he doesn't look like Kirk. But I'll tell you what he does look like. If you weren't here for that live stream, he looks exactly like Sam's brother. And I think that's why they cast him, is because he looks exactly like the brother of the guy who plays Kirk's brother. But I like it. You know, I'm willing to accept it enough. I'm not sure. I think they might have played funny with the timeline again. Let me check this. Star Trek memory... memorabilia? No. Memory Alpha Carol Marcus. Thank you, Memory Alpha. 'Cause I'm trying to think dates. Like, when was Kirk's son born? I thought she had become pregnant, like, when he left the academy. During the late 2250... Oh, no, that's Subspace Rhapsody. The Star Trek chronology, which looks like an old book. Yeah, old book. Speculated it was 2261. So, okay, I guess we didn't say when Kirk was born. Sorry, when Kirk's son was born. God knows his name. No one knows his name. But yeah, I guess they haven't played funky with the timeline. I was just wondering. But yeah, no, I really like Connect to Your Truth. I was still having so much fun with the premise, like the novelty hadn't worn off. Just Leon looking around the corner, all the background people still early on who's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is it? I don't think he's trying to be Shatner's Kirk, but he certainly has charm. So I actually know for a fact, one of the heads of Strange New Worlds, maybe even the head, does a lot of interviews. I recommend not reading them if you want to keep your sanity, but he's fine as a guy. We seem to fundamentally disagree on every level how you should handle canon in a franchise. Both him and Paul Wesley intentionally are not trying to do a Shatner impression and be like Shatner's Kirk. They are intentionally doing, I believe they called it a different take on the character, because they think it would be insulting to try and recapture Shatner's Kirk, because no one can do that, and I agree. I think the only person who can really play Kirk is William Shatner, at least that William Shatner's Kirk. And I fundamentally disagree with that direction. I fundamentally disagree that, I mean, they're doing it out of respect. I don't understand how fundamentally changing William Shatner's character, presumably without talking to him, is respectful to William Shatner. But yeah, they're not. They're trying to do their own Kirk. But I think it's working enough. I'm fine with it. He's hardly the biggest problem I have. How would that feel? That's not what I would have guessed this title would have been. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Can I get the frame? It's gonna be around here. Right here, I think. Yeah, for some reason, when I saw that, first off, I went, wow, Paul Wesley actually is a handsome man. But,
We
look,
meet Mr.
that's a handsome man.
Wesley. Oh wait, not Crusher. I thought when you said Wesley, immediately I thought Wesley Crusher. I was like, we meet Wesley's dad.
Yeah, for some reason, when I saw that, I went, I can see that that's Kirk now. I don't know why. I feel like he kind of looks like my dad when he was young, though. Not nowadays, but no. When I've seen younger pictures of my dad, I think his hair was like that. I don't think my dad was that handsome, but like. When my dad was, like, 20, you know, it's the hair. I'm face blind, so, you know, Paul Wesley's... I was going to cover it with my hand, but it's basically the hair. um, he has something to chew on. The show foundation for Apple TV has better pacing than Stranger Worlds by miles. I have not noticed any problems with Stranger Worlds pacing personally, but I don't know if I have too much to say about how would that feel. Yeah, that's the episode we're looking at. Let me give it a listen.
Take my hand to share it with me.
I mean, yeah, it's good. It's a good. It does feel more like a stage kind of song where all the characters leave and then, there's like the big solo. I mean, it's a musical. Yeah, of course it feels like that. But, yeah, I thought it was good.
Very theatrical is the word you're looking for.
I wouldn't call it my favorite. It kind of went over, theatrical. It kind of went over a lot of ground we already know with Leon. Just kind of setting up for later in the episode, I guess. Like, we already kind of know these feelings Leon is going through. That comment Alex just made about theatrical, I wonder if I'm more favorable towards musicals because I watch a lot of British television, which musicals are very theatrical and like stage-like inherently, but especially older British television like Classic Who, which I'll watch. The kind of acting scene around there is much more theatrical, has a more theatrical feel than it does in Hollywood. And I mean, back in like Doctor Who, it was actually filmed like it was a stage play, which is absurd. Like, but I wonder if there's something to it like that, where I'm just more like, or maybe I just like theatrical stuff more. I don't know. I don't really go to plays or watch those musical things, but yeah, it was a good song. I liked it. Nice vocals showcase. I don't think Leon had musical experience, or at least not on Broadway. I hadn't heard anything about it going into this episode. What's next? Private conversation. Yeah, I like the idea that there's, like, all over the fleet this is happening, and, like, the vast majority of people have no idea why. Private conversation. That was great. I need to give it another quick listen to. I'm sorry, but... yeah. Just the random rhyming stuff. When Pike... this is what it needed, is it needed to be over the top. And oh yes, and private conversation is one I'm gonna, anytime Alex tries to interrupt the live stream, I'm just gonna sing about how it's a private conversation, because that's just a ludicrous assertion. But when Pike fell to his knees, this was proper, over the top, great. It was even mostly a song about why the hell are we talking about all of this in front of my crew. Bit weird that, like, Uhura didn't terminate the translation herself, and it did feel weird. It kind of drove home a point that, it was weird, like, sure, our deepest emotional feelings aren't a security threat, but it's weird that Pike didn't see an issue that, like, you might randomly just start spewing your innermost personal thoughts when he's going through this thing. Like, yes, Pike, you should have seen this as your natural outcome of these songbirds. But it was funny. It was just like, she calls, is like, why is this happening? Why are we doing... It's like, I'm sorry, Pike, I appear to be rhyming. Ah, here it is. There we go. That's why we love Pike. He just went all overboard. Yeah, no, it was fun. It's a fun episode. I don't know. I like Pike singing in this one. I don't think he's a particularly skilled singer in some of the other ones, but in this solo, he gave it his all. And I like it. I think it worked for me. I was impressed how much, like, how no one in the crew was a bad singer. Maybe Carol Kane. I never really heard her. Maybe that's why we don't really hear her. But she's got such a long career. I'm sure she's sang. But yeah, I wonder. Maybe they do a lot of vocal training just for their acting. Some are speculating that Captain Patel might be a victim of the Gorn. Oh, no, yeah. I would... If I was running a betting pool, you would get better odds. Is it better or worse? I don't know how betting works. Basically, you would get more money back if you voted she was going to live than if she was going to die. I think she is more likely to die. I've said earlier in the season as well, I have suspected they might be kind of building up this relationship Pike has with someone, specifically so that at some point in the series they can kill her off if they want to. If they want Pike to go through, like, anything, they have someone they can just kill off. I am convinced that is the reason she exists. Also, we know how this Pike's life goes. We know that he doesn't end up with this woman. We know that he ends up with some other woman from his past, and we know that he doesn't seem to mention... I mean, he's in a beepy wheelchair, but he doesn't seem to mention this woman at all. She's not there when he has his accident. Yeah, no, she's dead, isn't she? She's dead next episode. And Pike learns some valuable lesson about the time he has left. Yeah, she's dead. Might be dead. I don't know. She might not die next episode, but I'd be nervous if I was her. I think we saw that map of all the ships. I think she's also by Gorn Space. But yeah, the Enterprise is next to Gorn Space for a reason. That is not an accident. Oh wait, there's the map. Enterprise, Farragut, Republic. So the Gorn are down here in the bottom right. What else? Emanair. I don't recognize any name. Oh, Lexington. That's a ship we know about. The Congo. Yeah, let me see if we get a better shot of this map. Because what's her ship? What's her ship's name? Someone said it in the comments. Captain, but oh no, it's Captain Battelle. What? I don't remember what she commands. Dang it. All right, we'll see this map later. Might even be this scene, actually. Is this a scene? I'll let it play. I don't think she's courageous enough for Pike, so I probably won't shed a tear for Patel's demise. I mean, they could make me feel, but it does feel like her purpose is to be murdered, and so it's might not... when knowing she's probably gonna die, it might not hit as hard, but, I mean, the amount of times I've seen The Child, or, like, the Hollow Light... What's the one with a... God dang it. What's the one where the doctor has a family? I never remember the name of that one. Private conversation. Keeping secrets is next. Ooh, that's one I do actually have to say, is there we go. We've got it. Yeah, so see, we're by the Gorn hegemony. That right there, it's blurry. It looks a lot like the name Stress VK has put. Yeah, she dead. Everyone on that ship is gonna die next episode. And if not next episode, season 3, but I bet that's the inciting incident. Is that ship is either destroyed or under threat. In EU, we know... Oh, yeah, bad news. Cayuga, that's the Cayuga. If you're watching on a mobile screen or YouTube compression, I don't know what it's doing, but that's Cayuga. Yeah, she dead. In the EU, like Star Trek Online, I know the Klingon and the Gorn are allies. I don't think that's alpha canon yet, but... yeah, no, she dead. She dead next episode. she's literally the closest ship to Gorn Space right now. Good lord, that's not a good sign. They're never, it's gonna be tragic because they're never gonna get that vacation, or no, that's how the season ends, or like the premiere of season 3 ends if it's a 2-parter thing. Is Pike's on that planet she wanted to go to? Like Pike's gonna be at the museum that the Captain Patel really wanted to go to, is gonna be all sad because it's just him, but he went anyway, even though we hated the the idea he's gonna go anyway because it makes it feel closer to her. Like, yeah, no, they can make that sad, but they're not gonna make it shocking, I don't think. That's the ending. If that's not the ending, Stranger Worlds writers, what the hell are you doing? Because, that's so... you could have that moment. He's there at the museum all by himself. Because, that's how I'd write it. That's how I'd write. I think that's the best piece of writing I've ever did, and I invented the time-traveling therapist. Private Conversation. Private Conversation was a weird one. I think I need to give it a re-listen to. Because at first, it felt like it was in direct contrast with the first song Ahura did. Because Ahura? Una. Because the first song was, connect to your crew. That was the whole point. Like, to be true to yourself, you have to make connections. And then the second one felt like, well, it literally was be an island, rely on nobody, and make yourself an island, because you're your own best friend and the only person you can count on. And I'm like, I don't know, these seem at odds, like, to such extremes. But she ended with the, like, the message of the song is that's bad. She ended, like, I wish I had never learned how to lie so well. Which, yes, that's something I can agree with. I don't lie anymore for that reason, because I'm very good at it. I'm very good at lying, and I'm very good at doing it without lying either. You're laughing because at the video? Never mind. Yeah, I'm also very good at lying without lying. It's very easy to imply an answer without actually giving one. It's very easy to let the conversation topic change. I'm very good at it in keeping secrets and lying. And it's not good. And it's why I actively chose not to do it anymore. So yeah, I'll have to listen to see if there's more throughout the song I missed about that. But no, keeping secrets, let me give it another listen to. What was the song like as a song? I think I've missed it. Where's the song gone? Yeah, it's slower. I like it. Be your own best friend and confident because no one will protect you when things go wrong. Yeah, that's not good. But no, yeah, I like that song. It's a slower one. It's not so much a song you could, like, sing along to, not something like that. But, yeah, no, I liked it. Lying is not the healthiest of defense mechanism. Oh, no. Yeah, it's why I don't... you have to try to not... I mean, unless you're bad at it, I suppose. But, like, I had to make an active choice and fight to not be good at it. I'm basically what Una... it's implying has... not implying. We saw it with the, Illyrian stuff. Yeah, she had to fight to not lie and be like that island and stuff. And I get that. And, it's interesting kind of seeing Leon go through that journey herself. But no, I like the song. I tend to maybe like things a little more... I don't know, faster, a little more you could sing along, but it was very good. I liked the style. I liked, as it was going through, we saw, like, Mbanga. I mean, it's obvious. It's not subtle, I'll give you that, but we were going through, like, as we were talking about things that Mbanga can relate to. We saw Mbanga. We saw Pike as we were going to stuff Pike was going to. Like, it's kind of... it maybe could have been less like saving it to the end. Like, all that stuff I just gave you as advice, actually it's bad, don't do it. It could have been, worked through the song a bit more, unless I missed that. But it's one that, like, yeah, Stranger Worlds might make some people realize that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be an island and, like, close yourself off to everybody. We even saw Spock and Chapel, like, that's not good. And that way, Stranger Worlds, through the stories it's been telling this season and this musical, it could be making the world better. You know, it could be making people's lives better, which is what Star Trek should be doing, making the world a better place. That's Keeping Secrets. I'm ready. What song is that? So every time I click the list of songs, I've got to rearrange all my windows to get them in the right way. Oh yeah, and just the kind of cheesy over the top where she turns off the gravity so they literally fly in the air. Like, yeah. Let's see. I don't think there's too much left. This bit, when they talk about how do we solve the musical, I'm almost surprised they didn't go this... Well, they kind of did go this route, where I went, if we're going by musical rules, how you solve the problem is you should just start singing a song about the problem, and then at the end of the song, you'll have sung the solution. That's where I thought they were going to go with it. And they kind of did. Uhura realized the pattern by singing. They just didn't realize that's... Is that too meta? Did the Stranger Worlds writers think that would have been, like, too meta? Because, I mean, let's be honest, the plots in Strange New Worlds are generally very simplistic because it's focusing on the characters. So maybe they didn't want to highlight the fact that their plots are rather simplistic. But this is the musical episode. You're not here for the plot. Here we go. Here's probably my least favorite song. Sam was the best part, but this, let me give it a listen. Yeah. It's still not, like, truly modern garbage, but I don't know. I'm listening to it now, which is why I'm not letting you see the screen. Like, as a piece of modern music, it's probably among the best it gets. As a part of this episode, I think it's the weakest one. It's just not my cup of tea for music. Oh my god, no, I have to show you that. As we were talking about it, hang on. They only have a 10. Yeah, oh no, there we go. Hang on. I've got to wait for the cut. There we go. Everybody watch Sam. Look at him. He's into this. He's like fully embracing. I've got like a 70s pedo mustache, and I'm going to embrace that character. He is loving it. That is an actor absolutely loving their part. Okay, I'm going to stop. Oh no, here we go. Look at this guy. I'm going to stop tempting the copyright gods, but Sam Kirk, by God, he's not the focus of this episode, but he made himself enjoy every minute. Fortunately, the lessons that Uhura and Spock are learning is that it's best not to have relationships because it hurts too much, which is why they end up seeing them solo in TOS. I disagree. With Spock, absolutely. That is the lesson he is learning, but that is also the lesson he has to learn to be the Spock we see in TOS. We already have seen Spock learn that what the decision he's about to make is wrong. We have learned this already. That was the responsibility of TOS, the animated series, the movies, TNG, heck, the JJ stuff. Like, we've seen him go through that arc. We are seeing how he got to that point. What there could be value in. You know, prevention is better than a cure. There can be value in some people being like, hang on, my life is kind of going how Spock's is. Like, I was thinking of isolating myself, but realizing that might not be a good idea. Uhura, I disagree. I think I can see where you're coming from. But Uhura's thing is that she is happy because she makes connections. I can see. I think we're not done with Uhura's arc. Well, not at all. We still probably have a few seasons of this show left. But no, I can see the criticism with Uhura. And yeah, I think it's valid now, but I think they're going to do more. Because I disagree that Uhura is solo in TOS. We usually see the crew in their professional capacity in TOS, far more than the other shows. And Uhura's station doesn't have to cooperate a lot. It's just manning the communications. But when we do see her in, like, the mess hall and in the private moments, no, she's friends with the crew. I think the movies are a lot less professional, in a professional setting than the show. So yeah, I would disagree that Uhura is as solo as you're suggesting in TOS. I'm the Ek. Oh no, we've got some Kirk stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know if this is resolved or we're going to see more of what Leon goes through with this. I mean, do we even know if Paul Wesley's here after season 2? Like, Kirk might be done after this season, but, yeah, I'm glad we kind of resolved it. We're not going to stick around in this state of, where she can't tell anyone ever. I'm glad we're moving on. I think we spent a good enough amount of time here. But I don't think I have too much to say about we knew Kirk wasn't going to get with Leon, because Kirk's not with Leon in TOS. But I don't know. I'm happy we've concluded this arc. I'm satisfied with how it went. It was a bit of a surprise, but I like that we've done stuff with Leon, and I care about Leon now. And now you just need to do something with Ortega's. Do you want Ortega's to have less development than Mayweather? Like, come on, that's Travis Mayweather. I mean, wow. Yeah, but no diss on Travis, but we all know he doesn't exactly get development. Ortega's feels more enjoyable to watch, but Mayweather, I know a lot more about Mayweather than I do about Ortega's. We only discovered Ortega's gender like 2 weeks ago. I know I can tell you a lot about Travis's upbringing. Uhura keeps everyone else connected, but she will never see or pursue a love interest of her own, except in Kelvin. I mean, she might just not want one. Not everyone needs a love interest, but I don't think Uhura ever seemed unhappy in the movies, like later in life, or even in TOS for that matter. But Uhura seemed like someone who was very happy with her life. But yeah, not everyone needs to, like, get married and stuff. I'm not feeling Stranger Worlds. Feels like I'm watching some pop series, not Trek. Uhura and Spock do make feel sort of sad for their future, but Leon, Chapel, and Uhura seem like they are ready for love. Might I remind you that Uhura loses all her memories of her entire life at some point in TOS with Nomad. Like, yeah, Uhura forgets all this. Like, that's gonna make the Nomad episode different when I eventually get back around to it. Like, Uhura forgets this. I want some, I don't know, like, I want her to get her memories back, I don't want her to forget Strange New Worlds. Like, she actually has stuff in here. She cares about her memories and her experiences. And in TOS, they just wipe Uhura's memory and are just like, yeah, well, this is fine. We can teach her how to read, and then she's Uhura again, and they never come back to that. Yeah, a little detail you might have forgotten if it's been a while. Then I do believe we have I'm the X. Let me give it a listen real quick. Further ahead. There we go. Yeah. I like the legwork it's doing, like, character-wise, plot-wise, but, it's got that very boom, boom, boom. The voice is good. I like the voice, but the music is that kind of modern. I don't know music. I can't really explain why it makes it modern. Like, there are bits I like, but it's a modern song. It's not my cup of tea. It's a young modern song. I'll give it that. The only thing that was true modern garbage was played as a laugh for how over the top and insane it was, so it worked. But I think that's a weaker song than Chapel's, but the legwork I enjoy a lot more. Not everyone needs to have a soulmate. Look at Billups. I think Billups wants one. That's the problem. We've got a few more. Oh yeah, keep us connected, because Ahura goes straight into a song after this. Let me remind myself. Yeah, I mean, full Broadway star right here. And it shows. Yeah. This is a Broadway star getting a solo in a musical. Great voice. I like the music. She's about to get to the chorus. I know this is probably weird because you can't hear the song. If it was sung a little differently, I think maybe like if you weren't gonna sing really loud, it wouldn't blow a mic. That's probably... Actually, no, I don't think this is a lip synced. I think this could have been just done in one take. Yeah, because it's very focused on her. Unless she's fantastic at lip syncing. I think this was just done in the room. I don't know. I'm bad at spotting that. But yeah, if it was sung a little differently, it'd be a bit more like you could sing along, have fun in your car with it, which I'd like more. But no, I liked it. It was a very Broadway kind of song, which makes sense. But yeah, of course, it's how, because it was the musical near the end of the episode, they solved their problem. It feels very Trek for me because we're getting to learn about the TOS characters in their early years to see why they become who they became in TOS, even side characters like Chaplin and Benga. Yeah, I think Ahura fits, but my main problem is that I don't think they usually fit with what I've seen in TOS. They're justifying it more, but yeah, the characters they've done well are the characters who, for all intents and purposes, are new. Pike, Mbanga, Una, those are all characters who were in TOS, but not prominent. They're basically blank slates. We know how Pike's story ends, but other than that. We Are One. That is the main end credit. I didn't actually hear Carol Kane, but she did sing. The problem is she's a lot quieter. No, I love this. I mean, it's cheesy, happy, but yeah, I like that they had to make it so improbable. I like that it was just over the top. Literally, in the plot is let's do a musical finale. Oh my god, and yeah, the Klingons that are about to show up. Star Trek, I've said before... Oh yeah, Anson Mount, I think he was a little weaker in this one, but... Star Trek peaked with the cold open of Tinker Tailor Dr. Spy. Tuvok, I understand. If you're not aware what this is, try and just look it up on YouTube. It starts with the Voyager's Doctor singing opera. You're listening to me. You know what it is. Star Trek peaked with Tuvok, I understand. And that was great, because it came out of nowhere for me. I hadn't expected that. I was watching it 30 years after the fact. The Klingons, I think, might be the new Tuvok, I understand. I am not singing Tuvok, I understand, because Alex is here, and I want it to be a very magical moment when Alex first encounters Tuvok, I understand. But yeah, I guess as another song review, this is technically the same song. Look it, they're literally like standing in choir formation. I would have swapped Leon and Spock. That's kind of unbalanced, but they're literally in like choir position. Just I love it. It's just so ludicrous. Where are the Klingons? Yeah, and then it gets so crazy. Oh my god, I forgot he had like a high voice. Look at this! Copyright gods be damned. Show me the Klingons again. Look at this! This is amazing. That's the best thing that's ever happened in Star Trek. 900 episodes. You know what? In 900 episodes of time and space, I've never seen anything that amazing. Original series is written like they are real military personnel. This Trek's a bunch of teenagers playing Trek. I think I see your complaint, and it's one I've shared before. I think they're doing better at professionalism in this episode, or sorry, in this season of Stranger World as a whole. But I also have other things to do today, so I don't know if you can tell. I'm trying to get to the end of the the end of the episode. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. It was over the top. Oh yeah, the end credits thing, that was good too. I liked it. I sat here and listened, did little Sam Kirk hip swings. But oh my god, I've just realized. Fans, I don't know if any of you have this particular skill set, but Beat Saber is a fantastic VR game. You may have heard of it. If you've heard of VR, you've heard of Beat Saber, I'm sure. There is the only form of pirating music which self-punishes you. There are mods for Beat Saber. It's like like a Guitar Hero kind of... it's a music rhythm game, you know? But you can download, people make custom maps with like licensed custom songs, which is, I suppose, technically pirating music. So I don't use them, of course, because I guess that'd be admitting to some sort of crime. But I cannot wait for Subspace Rhapsody soundtracks to get on Beat Saber. If you have the skills to make that kind of map, of course, get the rights and do it legally. And I won't be downloading it because it'd be pirating music, but I've just realized that would be fantastic, because when I play Beat Saber, it's basically just the Steven Universe soundtrack already. Yeah, they're younger. Her is only 22, but look at all the responsibility. Plus, Spock's mom just mentioned that Spock is still a teenager. I mean, in Vulcan terms, maybe, but Spock... I think Spock was about as old as he looked as a human, right? Because he lived his, like, 200-year lifespan. He dies in, like, the equivalent of the 25th century, doesn't he? So he's got to be about 20-something in TOS in order to live to when, like, the end of the JJ stuff. Because I can't remember what year that technically is, but it might even be, like, I think it's early 25th century is when his natural lifespan would have ended. But no, yeah, you know what? We've got... I don't know if I would hand this out normally. I am picky. Because in the middle, the kind of novelty of the idea wore down. But just the experimentation, the execution, the Klingons, I've got here how heavy it is. It's so impressive. I know you can't see it, but we got right here. Bam! Slam it on the table. Bohemian. Subspace Rhapsody's very own Perfection Award. It's massive. It's a bit... Tell them how impressive this Perfection Award is, Alex. Just, it's magnificent. It's huge. I don't think they can hear me, but, you know, it's such an impressive Perfection Award. It's in between us. It's like a sound booth, sound barrier. Yeah, I think that was fun. I loved it. It was probably the perfect Star Trek musical. It knew what it was. It was campy. It was fun. The novelty of the idea might have worn off a bit. It was still good, but they really pulled it back for that ending. That just amazing. 10 out of 10. Can't wait for the horrors of war next week. God, tonal shifts, but yeah, Captain Bodega, we're opening the betting pools now. What point will she die at this point? We're offering 1,000,000 to 1 odds on her survival. But yeah, the next episode is called Hegemony, as in presumably the Gorn hegemony. Kind of weird we set up that potential conflict to literally do nothing with it until the finale. But Under the Cloak of War gave me some faith that Stranger Worlds could do some interesting stuff at war. I was against the idea at first. I don't think I'll ever be for the Gorn, just what they've done with the Gorn. I'm very against that. But they have room for some interesting wartime stories, and I think I'm here for whichever way Stranger Worlds goes. Tune in next week for me to eat my words. No. Only a musical could really provide so much fun and good feelings overall. Yeah, I imagine if the ending was you know, the original cast of Enterprise. You got like Scott Bakula, I think is how you say it. You somehow get like Jolene Balak, is it? I think, like all in just singing "Faith of the Heart." You know, you just the credits start and you hear like an old Archer. It's been a long road, you know. But yeah, that's a licensed song. They couldn't have done it, and I choose to believe that was the only reason. Someone should have said it, though, right? Like, that's not copyright. Someone should have, like, looked at Uhura and been like, I have faith of the heart in you. I don't know. That would have been the clunk. Never mind. I've changed my mind. That would have been worse than you're on some kind of Star Trek. That would have been the clunkiest line in the history of the universe. Like, I don't know. Maybe you could have had a line of Uhura's song where she's like, I'm going where my heart will take me. You know, you could have done fun stuff. But yes, great stream. Thank you. Take care, everybody. I will wrap this up and then do some of the stuff I have to do today. Oh, that went a while. But yes, thank you for watching. And come on, I'm thinking Faith of the Heart. Hang on. There's not really like a send-off in Faith of the Heart, is there?